Arizona comes out of spring looking very much like a top 25 team.
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. The show is brought to you by Monopoly Go. Check it out, Monopoly Go. Check out what everybody out there is talking about. Monopoly Go, lots of fun for a lot of different people. All right, now let's talk about Arizona football post-spring. All right, I think we got to feel very, very comfortable with where Arizona is. Now, granted, not everything is perfect. Got to still beef it up at some, different positions, and we will certainly talk about that. But Jedd Fisch was not able to poach Arizona football in the way that I think so many thought that he would, and in the way that so many thought that he was going to. But now let's talk about what we have, and we're going to go position by position, and we are going to grade all the units. All right, now, first position. We are going to talk about the quarterback position, and it is impossible for me to give Arizona anything but an A. I get that it's not super deep. I know that we don't really know what would happen if Noah Fifita were to go down, but we have Noah Fifita. Noah Fifita is fantastic. Noah Fifita is very, very good, and we like Noah Fifita a great deal. So I am going to put Arizona at an A because I'm just going to say it now. I don't care what anybody else says. There is not a quarterback in the country that I would take over Noah Fifita. I'm always going to quote Greg Biggins on this. When Greg Biggins said, when the chips are down, I've watched a lot of different quarterbacks over the years, and he says, I'm taking Noah. Period. I'm taking Noah. If I got the games on the line, I'm taking Noah. And this is a guy that has watched everybody in California, everybody on the West Coast for a long time. And I think we understand why he's saying that at this point. It makes a lot of sense because he's just pretty much a really, really good football player. And players react to him. Players obviously respect him. And it's easy to see why, because he's the man. Everybody loves Noah Fifita, as they should. If you don't like Noah Fifita, then there's something wrong with you. Plus, there's a reason that when he took over last year, Arizona was not looking good, to put it mildly. Now, Arizona was not looking the greatest, because Jayden de Laura, he had guys running open and he wasn't throwing them the football. We saw that. All of a sudden, when Noah Fifita comes into the game, all of a sudden things start looking a little bit different. And I think that was something that Arizona fans probably were like, wait a second, why has this not been the case? But either way, Noah Fifita, with him, you give an A. Now, I do have to say that I am a little worried about some of the other positions, or the backup. Listen, I know Braden Dorman was a 4-star kid, and I would love to be wrong on Braden, but I'm not sure that Braden, I don't know that I feel necessarily comfortable with Braden. Now, you got Garcia that came in from San Jose State. He maybe provides you some depth. Cole Tannenbaum actually hasn't looked terrible, but, that's the way we are in college football, in that if you do not, it's just kind of the way it is. If your quarterback goes down, then you're probably not going to be in great shape. Either way, Noah Fifita gives Arizona an A. All right, now, let's go to the running back spot. I'm going to go B- at the running back spot. Very, very, very much like our guy Fam, Rayshon Speedy Luke. Very, very good football player. Comes from an awesome family. Lots of integrity in the Luke family. Also a strong last name, as we all know. I think he's going to have a big breakout year. I've been saying this from day one, that all he needs is 10 to 15 touches. If he gets 10 to 15 touches per game, then Arizona is going to be in really, really good shape. And honestly, I do think that he's going to get that. And I think we're going to see somebody that's got NFL potential. I really do. I think he's got a lot of DeAnthony Thomas in him. And I know that he's not 215 pounds. He's always going to probably be about 185. But he is fast, he is elusive, and he can make people miss, and he has functional football speed. I think way too often we see players that don't have functional football speed, and you see it. You know it when you see it, and it's not like TJ Johnson. TJ Johnson's probably in a straight line is probably as fast as Rayshon Speedy Luke, but he could never make some of the runs that Rayshon Speedy Luke has made, including the touchdown earlier. It's just because Rayshon Speedy Luke, fam, is a different caliber of player, period. So that's where we at. Now, I also like Quali Conley. Coming from San Jose State, pretty well put together kid. He can make some people miss, obviously. And again, anybody that's averaging about 7 yards a pop off the carry, you got to respect. You got to know that, man, this guy is good. He is very good. But that's kind of it. I like Brandon Johnson in theory, but I just don't know that the coaching staff is totally sold on Brandon Johnson. Jordan Washington, go away, go to smelly, rainy Seattle. This coaching staff, I don't think, was super high on him, and Washington was liking tweets, bashing the U of A fan base. He went up to Seattle, where you will also be buried on the depth chart. We do not need you down here. But Arizona's got to get some other running backs. I do believe that Arizona's got to get a little bit of a bruiser, maybe a Damian Martinez type. Now, obviously, Damian Martinez is at Miami. I get that, but that's somebody that you need. You need somebody of that ilk. That, a bigger back. He doesn't need to be somebody that's that good, but you do want to get somebody that could possibly be in that, possibly be in that realm. So we will find that one out. Now, at the, so again, going B- because I love the top two, but then after that, you got to worry about some other stuff. Now, at the offensive line, I'm going to C because Arizona doesn't have depth here, and you got some real concerns. Jonas Savaiinaea and Wendell Moy are both NFL players. I'm not breaking any news to any of you. You're all smarter than me. You know that. Big Jonah especially is a man, and Jonas Savaiinaea is a dude who is going to be probably a first-round pick. He just looks different than pretty much everybody else. Then Wendell Moy. Also, somebody I got to give the previous coaching staff some real credit for, because Wendell Moy he's emerged into a very, very good football player, and so that's always a good thing. But there's also some other stuff. That this line has to deal with. Josh Baker, I like Josh Baker. He's solid, but I also think that Josh Baker, I'm fine with. Josh Baker's your starting. Yep, totally cool with. So there's three. And then Raymond Polito. In theory, I like Raymond Polito. I think he's a good kid. He definitely likes playing at Arizona, so I got to give him a lot of credit with that. But he's always hurt a lot. I mean, he's hurt. He gets hurt a lot. He gets banged up a lot, and that's not ideal. And it's something that's you're just got to kind of, I think, probably factor in at this point in time. You wish it wasn't really the case, but I think it kind of is the case. But if he plays great, I just don't know that I can really count on him. But so I think I got three guys. And then Leif Magnuson, I love Leif. If Leif has to start, cool. Totally cool with it. I think you saw in the bowl game that when Leif Magnuson comes into the game, Leif Magnuson doesn't come out of the game. I love Leif. Shout out to Quinn Magnuson. But that's kind of it. Deuced, I was never really sold on. The previous coaching staff did a very good job of evaluating offensive linemen. I get it. But when you're a low 3-star kid, you go to Northwestern, you can't really play. I don't know that I'm projecting you as being Jordan Morgan's replacement. So I don't really know about Deuced. And then the other linemen from Rhino to Elijah Payne to Tylen Gonzalez just haven't really developed. You don't really feel comfortable putting them out there. So again, you got some good top end talent. You got some solid players, but you definitely need more depth. I'm going C. And then we're going to get to maybe the strength of the team, the wide receivers, which could absolutely blow up here in a second. But first, the Gametime app. Check it out. Gametime. Download the Gametime app today. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Now, go to a game like our good friend, the great Erica Day, is going to a game with our good friend Kim, and she is going to the Diamondbacks game, and they are going to use the Gametime app. Now, again, this is also where it is at, because you can get not just sports tickets, you can get events, you can get all kinds of different things. And not only can you get all kinds of different things, you can also get some other stuff that is also cool, like whether that's concerts, whether that's all kinds of different things. Our good friend William Brad Alice has done this as well. So again, download the Gametime app today. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke. All right, now. Let's talk some Arizona wide receiver. Arizona's got the best wide receiver in the country, period. Teteroa McMillan. Teteroa McMillan is the man. He's the best wide receiver that's ever come through here. Now, I fought for the longest time. I was always going to be partial towards Dennis Northcutt, but T-Mac's just different. T-Mac going to be a top 10 pick. He's obviously dealing with a foot injury, but they expect him to be fine and good to go in a couple months. T-Mac is what a top 10 to 15 NFL draft pick looks like. He's what a number one wide receiver looks like. He's big. He's got great ball skills. He's fast. He can just do a number of different things. So you work backwards from there. And by the way, I'm giving this position unit an A with the potential of becoming an A+. Now, then you've got Malachi Riley. I think Malachi Riley is going to explode this year. I love Malachi Riley. I think that he's a very, very good football player. I also think that he's super explosive. And you saw last year, he was just always kind of getting open. He was the dude that always kind of got behind the defense, just was able to make some plays. And I think that Malachi Riley is that dude. He is going to be him, as the kids like to say. Montana Lamonius Craig. I would love to be wrong on Montana. I would love to see it. I just didn't see really any explosion last year. He hardly ever left the field, and he didn't do much. So there's that. So not totally not a huge fan of that. But again, this is the next coaching staff that really likes him. So we will see. I would love to be wrong on him. This obviously changes a great deal too if you get Elijah Badger visiting the U of A. If you get Elijah Badger, then things really start to change, because he and T-Mac would be hands down the best wide receiver unit in the entire country. He is super, super good. And so that's kind of where we're at with all of that. Now, let's talk about some of the backups. A.J. Jones. I love A.J. Jones. Just think he's got to get out of the field and be healthy. And I think if A.J. Jones plays, he'll be good. So there's all that. Lost Kevin Green. Bummed about that. I like Kevin Green a lot, but it is what it is. I get it. But the wide receiver unit, I am giving an A. Now, tight ends. Love the tight ends. Now, not a ton of proven commodities at the tight end position. You've got Roberto Miranda, who's going to start. This coaching staff loves him. This coaching staff loves using the tight end. They like Roberto Miranda a great deal, and we'll see how it works out. But you also got some other depth there. You got Kean Burnett as well. You got Tyler Powell. You've also got Dorian Thomas. You got four dudes that can play. Now, again, you could probably say that they're a little bit unproven. I could certainly see the case, but they're also going to be. I think they're also more than capable, and I think that's where, if you're an Arizona fan, you are more excited about. Now, I think one thing that we've got to keep in mind, though, is that these guys are still all unproven. Got to take a little bit of chances with this, but I get it. Now, I'm going to give that unit a B minus. Actually, I'm going to give it a C, because there's nobody that's proven, but it's got the potential to be a good unit. And I don't think that there's any way that it'll be a bad unit. But right now we're going to go with C. Okay. Now. Let's move to the defensive line. The defensive line. I am totally cool with the defensive line starters. The starters. So Trey Smith and Tai Uyongalele on the outside. Yes, please. Totally cool with both of them. I think Trey Smith's probably going to be a little bit better version of Isaiah Ward, which isn't a bad thing. Isaiah Ward was good for Arizona. And Ty was a monster this past season, or this past offseason for the U of A. He very much impressed the U of A coaching staff, and it's going to be impossible to keep him off the field. But on the inside then, you've got a number of players who are, you got a couple dudes who I think are going to be the starters. You've got Kevon Darton, played very, very good football at Syracuse last year. Like Kevon Darton, a great deal. And he was, one of the better interior pass rushers in the ACC. I think it's impossible not to like him and what he can bring to the fold. So you got Kevon Darton. Then you've also got Chuba. Now, I'm hoping that Chuba can take up some of the slack for BBN. BBN was I think a big loss, a cultural loss, and a big dude that just did a lot of good things for Arizona. I'm thinking you're hoping that Chuba can be that dude. But either way, that four-man front, totally okay with. Now, I think afterwards you got to find a little bit of depth, because I think Isaiah Johnson is good, but after that, I don't know that, like I said, you can't really get many injuries, and I don't know exactly who is totally emerged. So the D-line, I'm going to give a B-, C+, somewhere in there, but the potential to be better. But again, the starting four is great, but what made Arizona really, really different last year was Tyler Manoa, Jacob Kongaika, Tia Savea. You were just at Deuce Davis. You were just able to continuously bring players off the bench that were able to come in and make a huge contribution. Now, I think with Arizona, I think what you got to do is you got to just get some depth. And again, hopefully you can find somebody in the portal. If you can find somebody in the portal, then you will be good to go. But that's where it's at now. The linebacker spot, Jacob Manu, I'm going to go B- here as well. Jacob Manu is an All-American. Jacob Manu is one of the best players in the entire country. Everybody knows what he can do. He is good. He can, I think the big question some people had is, would he be able to start making plays upfield? Would he start be able to, not just be isolated in the box, but make plays upfield? And he certainly showed that he could do that. So there is obviously that. But you've also got some other factors in play then too, in that I don't know exactly who the dude next to him is going to be. Arizona's got to get another linebacker. Now, you could say that you're going to see some three safety looks. Totally get it. All right, cool. I'm fine with that. But I don't know that Leviticus Sua, I just don't know is really that dude. Love to be wrong, but I don't know that he's that guy. And, you got Tay Brown, you got some other guys, but right now it's Jacob Manu, and you're still trying to figure that one out. So I think you've got to go probably a B- there. And if you go B-, I think it's probably fair to, I think that's probably fair. Then in the secondary, I'm going to give it a B+, because you've got a player you got three safeties that are all good, and they're probably good enough to start almost anywhere. Gunnar Maldonado, my bad, Gunnar Maldonado. I was wrong on Gunnar Maldonado. There is no doubt about it. I look like a fool. Gunnar Maldonado continues to mock me, but he is really, really good. Okay. Then after that, you got Genesis Smith, who I think is going to play in the NFL for a long time. He's big, he's rangy, he can move. He just looks a little bit different than all the other safeties on the team. Thought he was probably a little bit underrated coming out of high school, and I think he's going to continue to show that. Love Genesis, forced his way onto the field. He's really good. And then Dalton Johnson is the best safety on the team. He's a combination of just being in the right place at the right time, knowing where he's supposed to be, and you win a lot of football games with players like that. Dalton Johnson is a total stud and someone that probably should have played a little bit more. So I love the safeties. The safeties are awesome. Now we're going to get to the corners where you have maybe the best player on the defense. But first, Monopoly Go. Check it out, Monopoly Go. All right, download Monopoly Go, free on the App Store and Google Play. All kinds of fun stuff at Monopoly Go. Now, It's fun and it's immersive, and a lot of people are utilizing it. And the reason a lot of people are utilizing is because it's fun. In this day and age, people like having fun. Monopoly Go is there to let you have fun. So again, check it out. Download Monopoly Go free on the App Store and Google Play. This is another one of those ones where you're going to thank me later. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. I can only do so much, but I will continue to do this. Check it out. Download Monopoly Go free on the App Store and Google Play. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Michael Luke. All right, now. Let's talk the cornerback position. Okay, so Tacario Davis is back. Tacario Davis is one of the best cornerbacks in the entire country. Now, a big part of this is that he is coming back to back the A. That is a massive, massive part of this. And I think that that is a very, very good part of all of this. And he's going to play in the NFL. Jed Fish tried to get him to come away, and he said, "Shoo, I will not do any of this." He's an NFL player. He's probably going to be a first-round pick next year. He's got that type of potential. He is he's a dude that would start at Bama. He's a dude that would start at Georgia. He's a dude that would start at the University of Arizona. So he is awesome. Now, we've also got Traden Stukes. Love Traden Stukes. Probably as good a nickelback as there is in the country. Now, a lot of people say, why did you just put him at the other boundary corner? No, because he's really good as a nickel. And like Arizona football said, it is our job to be able to find other players that can fit in that role. So you're going to keep him in the nickel. This unit gets a B+, mainly because you don't know who that is. I like G7. I like the theory of G7, but I don't think he's a starting cornerback. So Arizona's got to get this. Now, again, they're going to try to get Javion Cole. Probably won't be able to get him. Dude out of San Jose State. Very, very good. But you can see where this one's headed. It's Auburn, it's Texas, it's Michigan State. He's going to check out a variety of different places. But Arizona's got to continue to work on this, and they will. They know that they got to do that. So overall, on the offensive and defensive side of the football, you got a lot of A's and B minuses. You got a couple C's. There's not one position on the team that is just a total disaster. Now, there are some where you're like, man, there's not a lot of depth there. But that's also on this coaching staff and the portal to be able to figure that one out. And I think they will be able to figure that one out. So that's kind of where we're at. Now, as far as the specialists, totally cool with it. I want Fam returning kicks this year. As long as Fam is returning kicks, I think we're going to be fine. Kicking game is I'm totally fine with the kicking game. So overall, this should be this is a top 25 team, period. Point blank, the way it is. Now, we didn't talk a ton about U of A basketball player minutes, other than the fact that I can tell you that there's going to be a lot of dudes who are playing more than 20 minutes per game next year. Not really breaking anything there. We will get to that tomorrow. Again, kind of got carried away a little bit with football, but we're also a football school here, so I make no apologies on that. But again, we're going to talk a lot more portal news tomorrow. We're going to talk Arizona basketball minutes. Then later on in the week, we're going to talk spacing as well. A good episode for all the spacers who will like this as well. But as always, very, very much appreciate you guys making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. We'll be with you all 5 days this week. But again, we're going to touch on a lot of Arizona football like we did today. But don't worry, we are going to get to Arizona basketball as well. But on that note, again, thanks for making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Mike Luke. Bear down, back the A. We will be back with you tomorrow, and thanks for making Locked On Wildcats your very first listen of the day. Have a great rest of your day.